never apologize to somebody else when you're sharing information about what kind of pain you're in. And then immediately follow it up with, oh, I'm sorry to mention that you're probably in much worse shape than me. Hi, welcome to the Chronicles of Nani. I'm Nani. It's a cyber coffee shop, and the cyber coffee today is Kroger brand seltzer water, pink grapefruit flavor. Remember some time ago we've talked about the fact that your coffee at the cyber coffee shop doesn't have to be coffee at all? Well, today it's not. It's seltzer water. Or you can call it carbonated water or sparkling water. It's actually all the same thing. This one happens to be store brand seltzer, and it's, if you can figure out a way to make a cute little brand mark out of something that's store brand and by that nature sort of brandless, that is a cute way to do that, to separate the word and make it really big. In 2019, which is I think the last time that I really did this, I used to do like every 3 months, so every quarter of the year, I did something topical, something to inspire me. A lot of times it was a quote with some artistic stuff around it that would be the wallpaper on my desktop. So there would be something to inspire me. The last time that I did this was in March of 2019. And my quote, which is one that I wrote, it's probably one that somebody else has written too, but as far as I know, it's the one that I wrote at that time, was that when you take 3 steps forward, if you are pushed back 2 steps, you are still a step forward. Good inspirational stuff. Unfortunately, right now, I feel like I've started behind, and every time I take a step forward, I'm pushed back 2 another step farther behind. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And it's a negative frame of mind that I'm working really hard at getting myself out of. But that actually is not the big thing that we're talking about today. The big and important thing today, there's one word that we all use. And I don't care if you try to think about it and say, no, that's not a word I use. It's a word that we all use. We don't even think about using it in front of our children. In fact, it's one of the first words we teach our children to use, and they end up using it all of their lives too. And that word is sorry. That's one of the worst words, is sorry, because people can look at me in a wheelchair and feel sorry for me. Why? Why would you feel sorry for me because I'm in a wheelchair? Because if it weren't for the wheelchair, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. You should feel happy that I have the wheelchair. Not sorry for me being in the wheelchair. Happy that I have it. When I went to sleep last night, I couldn't walk. When I woke up this morning, I couldn't walk. I knew that if I wanted to go anyplace, I needed to be in the wheelchair. I had to have help getting dressed and help getting put in the wheelchair and help getting out of the house to go someplace. And I meet a friend for lunch, and she comes in on crutches because she sprained her ankle. And she's talking about how she sprained her ankle because she knows how I got in the wheelchair. But she's telling me how she sprained her ankle, and she's talking about the pain and walking around on crutches, and then she stops and she says, "I'm so sorry. Here I am talking to you about I'm going to be on crutches for a week and how bad that makes me feel, and you're in a wheelchair." Well, like I said, I was in a wheelchair yesterday. I'm in a wheelchair today. No different. Sometimes there's pain. I've got good drugs for that. I know when to take them and when not to take them. And today's pretty much the same as yesterday was. To my friend who just sprained her ankle, yesterday you got into bed and everything was fine. Today you got out of bed and you walked in, showered, got dressed, got ready to go out and enjoy your day off, and then you fell. And you had excruciating pain you didn't have yesterday. It's something brand new. And you go to the hospital and they wrap up your sprained ankle, or air cast. I think the last time I sprained my ankle there was an air cast. And you get crutches that you have to use to walk around on. So you've got pain in your ankle that you didn't have yesterday. You've got undoubtedly pain in your armpits from walking around on the crutches that you didn't have yesterday. And you're apologizing to me for talking about it because I'm in a wheelchair. I don't feel any different today than I did yesterday. You are dealing with all kinds of pain that you didn't have. I would say honestly, at this point, I feel bad for you because you are in much more pain than you were yesterday. You are in a great deal of pain that you are not used to. I know the first time that I started feeling lots of pain in my legs, before I even couldn't use them anymore, that it was new and it was awful. And right now I still get pain in my legs, but it's not new. I know to expect it. When you suddenly have a great deal of pain that you didn't have before, don't feel sorry talking about it in front of me because I'm in a wheelchair. You're the one who's experiencing new pain, and it is something that's catastrophic for you. And I dare say you're in dealing with a bigger change and more pain from that change than I am at that given time. So you shouldn't feel sorry talking about the pain that you're in because I'm in a wheelchair. You should talk about the pain that you're in because that is something that you're going through right now, and I can offer some comfort. And no, my comfort is not going to be, well, at least you're not in a wheelchair, because that actually turns me into a bit of an ugly person that I try not to be. Yeah, don't ever apologize for your own pain. Don't compare yourself to, especially to people that you care about, to say, well, at least I'm not you. And that's essentially what you're saying. I'm not you. You've got it so much worse than me. And the truth is, no. At that exact moment, you have it much worse than I do, because it's new pain that you're not used to. Where this comes from is after being reunited with my friend and person that I've worked with as an aide before. Candace came in, and it was just my face lit up. So did hers. The two of us talking to each other and catching up. But I was amazed for the first time that Candace was in how much stuff she remembered from 3.5 years ago. She remembered where things were. She remembered my right hip actually flips out and it's painful and it causes sciatic nerve pain. She had set me down on the bed to get me cleaned up, and I had commented that my leg was in pain. And she looked at my legs and she said, "Yep, I can see that your leg is not straight because you've got a hip that flips over on that side." And she moved the bed around, and she knew what to do to help me flip the hip over. She said, "I'm not sure that I remember exactly how to do this, so you're gonna have to talk me through on some of it." And she didn't get it perfect, but boy, she got it close to perfect. And this is after 3.5 years. She remembered exactly what the problem was and what needed to be done. And it was, oh, this is going to be a fantastic working relationship again. At the same time as rekindling a wonderful friendship. And this went on for 3 different days, 3 different shifts. And then I got a text. And the text told me that she was sent to ER from her job earlier in the day because her blood pressure had skyrocketed. And they were checking her in and keeping her at the hospital. And she said, "I'm sorry." And the reason was, "I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to be there for you." And my first thought was, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I hope that they can figure out what's wrong. Because they tried a bunch of different things. Were not able to get her blood pressure to stay down. Which could be a lot of really terrible things. And I'm worried about her, and she's worried about you're not going to have anybody there taking care of you. And I will admit that part of my second thought was that, wow, this puts me in a bad place. Still, my first thought was concerned with, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? And are they going to be able to fix this? Are they going to be able to figure it out and make you better? And I did tell her as much with the, please don't say you're sorry, because I want to be sure that you're okay first. You're what's important in getting you back on track. I'll survive. I've survived over 10 years with the progressive complications of MS. And I'll keep surviving. Let's get you taken care of first. So they finally checked her out of the hospital. They had a few more outpatient tests to run. And they told her that it's probably going to be at least 2 weeks before we let you go back to work. Again, she apologized for that. And again, I had to remind her, you have nothing to feel sorry about. This is, it's a good thing that they're taking care of you, and this is something I've dealt with for 10 years. This is something that you are suddenly dealing with now, and you should never feel that there's more you can do for someone else, and you should never feel like I have no business telling you that this is wrong with me when you've got so much wrong with you. Don't compare yourself to somebody else, and don't be afraid to let it be about you when you are dealing with a brand new pain that it's debilitating to you. Even if it's something that's going to be fixable and everything will be better later, the brand new I was fine before and now I'm in pain, you're definitely right now in worse shape than somebody who's been in a wheelchair for years. So in the world of good words and bad words, I'd say that sorry is one of those words that can go either way, but a lot of times the way that we use it, it's a bad word. There are much better words. Never apologize to somebody else when you're sharing information about what kind of pain you're in. And then immediately follow it up with, oh, I'm sorry to mention that you're probably in much worse shape than me. Not true. And don't ever feel bad about expressing when there's pain. Because if you don't know, then how can you expect people to reach out and help? Even if it's a situation like I was talking about before, where a friend sprains their ankle. If you don't know how much pain they're in, you can't show empathy. And empathy is one of the greatest gifts we have as human beings, is understanding what others are going through, what others could use help with. But sorry is not the word. Empathy is a better word. The not so much the I'm sorry because you're worse than me, to assure somebody that right now I understand what you're going through because I went through that many years ago when I first got into the accident that put me in the wheelchair. But I'm used to it now, and this is brand new for you. And offer comfort instead of pity, because it usually works better. I know it does for me. Comfort over pity, definitely. So sorry can be a really poor choice of words. Be careful about when you use it. One of the words that is oftentimes a good word, oftentimes a really bad word. Right now, I'm sort of looking at irony as a bad word. It was supposed to be a good word because Candace and I had already started talking about training a friend of hers that was also in the home health care business to be an on-call person that would job shadow her one day once she was back into the full groove, and would be that on-call person that either one of us could give her a call and say, okay, Candace can't come in, can you make it in today? And we had already gotten that in the works. We knew who that person was going to be, and that was going to be something we could do in a week or two, and then bam, Candace is in the hospital. And we have all kinds of wonderful ideas that had not started yet, and now irony is a Murphy of Murphy's Laws actually has a guest room in her house. He lives here, and he's probably giggling all over the place about, see what I did there? But it's not like it's something we haven't done before. And when Candace is able to come back in, and she's going to be my regular aide again, and we're going to invite in our backup person, and we're just going to pick up where we left off, just like we did to begin with. And everything is going to work out great. So, irony a much worse word than sorry, but don't overuse sorry. Be careful about where you use that word. There are some things that you don't need to apologize for. If it's something that you didn't do, if it's something you couldn't help, and you can't help the fact that you need the help, you don't have to apologize for it. And like I said, I apologize all the time for needing help. I appreciate it when somebody tells me you don't have to be sorry about that, because it does comfort me. But I still apologize all the time. And the truth is, we all apologize when we really don't have to. And sometimes we don't apologize when we should. Use it less often, or use it more often, or maybe a combination of both. And you'll find out that things will work a lot better if you can think in your own mind that I don't feel sorry for this person. Somebody in a wheelchair, I don't feel sorry for them, because without the wheelchair they couldn't move, they couldn't go anywhere. But don't diminish your own pains because somebody else has it worse. When it comes right down to it, we're all human, and we all have our challenges that we face, and we all have good things that can make us smile. And I think one of the best things that can make us smile is being human together, and not overusing feeling sorry for each other, feeling sorry for ourselves, but just enjoying being together and sharing the good things and the bad things, and sharing each other with a cup of coffee or seltzer water or whatever you're drinking that day. Use your words carefully. Use that subscribe word if you haven't already. Add to that. That makes me happy. So do things to make people happy. And I will see you next week. 8 o'clock in the morning on Fridays is the premiere. And I definitely invite you to come and watch the premiere and talk with me during the premiere. If not, Cyber Coffee Shop 24/7 on all the time. Once it's on the internet, it never goes away. And we can have coffee together anytime that you have time for coffee. In the meantime, have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week.